Well, we've tried starting this about 4 times, and it sounds like a Zoom call every time. So we're just gonna run with it. If it still sounds like one, know that we are in the same room. How's your week been?
It's syllabus week, man.
Yeah, that's true. That shit fucking blows.
Sucks.
I did my first discussion for my humanities class. It's just an intro to humanities, and we had to like read this paper that was written like back in like 2013. So I don't know how relevant it still is, anyways. That was like, you should learn how to like study the humanities and appreciate them just as much as business like classes. And I was like, well, you should learn to like appreciate the humanities and like how important they are to humanity. But then they gave like another statistic where it was like 30 years ago there was one like liberal arts degree for every like 2 business degrees, and now it's 1 liberal arts degree for every 7. And I was like, yeah, because that's just what we value more. It's not like people aren't interested and don't want to do it. I'd say probably today is one of the most creatively like big moments in human history since like probably like the Renaissance.
So you're saying that for every 7 business degrees, there's 1 humanities degree?
That's what they said back in 2013.
Yeah, they just don't want to listen to all the Karens, man.
I just don't. But
it is.
It's not like people don't want to do that. It's just that there's no value. You know how many jokes there are out there about like, oh, you're an English major, so how's it like working at McDonald's? Like, they just don't value it anymore. It's not that people don't want to learn it. And also, throughout history, because they kept talking about like, with technology today as well, like there's no like French salons where like great people would sit down and talk about like moral quandaries, like philosophizing, like Plato's and Socrates. I'm like, you realize that was only ever for the rich people?
Yeah.
It wasn't like today where like anyone can get online and like be like, did the chicken come before the egg? Well, I came before my girlfriend. Bada bing. It's so the idea that there's this like lack of interest in it now just because like there's Twitter and stuff is not true. It's just that we don't value it as much anymore because there's so many people out there that are able to do it. And they even like gave an example of like a guy who set up a foundation to try to like make the humanities more present, and like he is a billionaire who made his money in investing. And I'm like, that just goes to show you that only the richest of the rich have time to give a shit about whether we should care about the arts. There's not a guy in the Appalachian Mountains who has to work on a coal mine 7 days a week to provide just enough to not qualify for food stamps. Is like out there going like, I think, does that mean I am? No.
I just feel like the difference in the majors, I think it's hilarious because they all try to compete, right? Because they want to keep their jobs at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it reminds me so much of like trying to be popular in high school. It really does. It's like everybody's just like, no, mine's better. And then the humanities teacher always gets shafted because in reality it's just them bitching about problems that, let's be honest, 75% of the people that actually go to college, it doesn't pertain to them, and they really don't give a shit.
It's just it's fun to do, and I think it is important to have a grasp on the humanities. But this idea that I just hated the idea. It's like it's your guys' fault for not caring. I'm like, no, fuck off. People care about this stuff, and so I put that in my discussion post, and my teacher just kind of responded like with the syllabus. Like I read it through and was like, in this class we're going to be learning about like the humanities and how important they are. I'm like, I'm not saying they're not important. I'm saying it's bullshit that you're blaming the average person for not caring about it when people do. It's just that there's no means to do it. And then some guy underneath it like commented, was like, I agree 100% with what you're saying. And then like kind of went into like a conspiracy theory. Like I got a vibe from him, and I was like, this is probably not the guy I want to be partnered up with in this class. It's like we're
7 computer monitors in his basement.
We're looking like at ancient Egypt artifacts, and he goes like, these were built by the pyramids. By aliens. Never mind. Do you smell toast? Welcome to the podcast, everybody. So I have a big announcement I'd like to make here. Your boy's off the market. Sorry, the nobodies that wanted me. All of these 0 people. I do have a girlfriend now, so.
Which, can I just say, normally I'm very comfortable with you. I felt more comfortable naked running down the street than I did playing that Monopoly game the other day.
Why?
Not because of her. Not because of you. Just something about the vibe, man.
It's because we were sober playing Monopoly.
That's exactly
we have never played a sober game of Monopoly once.
We haven't. And if you do, then it always ends in just bad blood.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And speaking of Monopoly, fuck you guys. You're making me hate socialism. Every time we fucking play Monopoly, it always starts out, everyone's on the same page. We're all going to play against each other. It's all going to be fun. And then as soon as the going gets rough a little bit, Tristan and his girlfriend team up on me. And then it just turns into, you don't have to pay if you land on my space. Well, then you don't have to pay on mine. And then I'm the only motherfucker on the board paying. The last game,
We didn't do that. We didn't do that last game.
Last game, everybody.
Legit.
Last game, everybody conspired against me because I had a hot start. I had that Donald Trump, my father gave me a small loan of $1 million kind of start.
You got around the board 3 times.
I was.
And the time that it took us to get halfway around the board.
Fucking feeling it. And then you guys came out here all Bernie Sanders-like and being like, the top 1% should give up Boardwalk. It's not fair that he owns all the blues. Go fuck yourself.
And man, did I crush you all on that spot. Oh, God. Every single one of you landed on it.
It was a tough game. That was the most I've ever seen, like, Boardwalk and Park Place get landed on.
Ever be used
yeah.
ever.
It was crazy. And then I started thinking that maybe we should just have the presidential debates be a game of Monopoly. Since now people only seem to care about, like, the economy. It's like, we don't care about human beings anymore. We've stopped doing that. We've moved past that. We just care about the economy. The winner, it should just be all of the presidential candidates. That you don't even have to make it to the primaries. Like, it can't just be Biden versus Trump. It's everybody. You all start out even, and it's just like, fucking go. And whoever wins, that's the president. Like, that's a great businessman right there.
Kanye 2020, anybody remember Kanye? No.
Oh my god, I'm so glad he dropped out.
Did he actually? I didn't even know that he actually did.
Well, he never, like, officially filled out the paperwork to, like, actually be president.
He was too busy ruining Taylor Swift's life.
Oh my god. It's so strange to watch him just have public meltdowns, and then everyone's like, Kim, what are you gonna do about it? And she's like, I can't do anything. Like, you can tell I'm not pleased by this either, but I'm not gonna say my husband's fucking psycho in public. I can just be like, he's going through a tough time, he needs his help. It's so, but
I think he's got, like, mild schizophrenia.
He definitely has bipolar disorder. Like, that's well documented.
Yeah.
And but the new girlfriend thing, I had a bet with another one of my friends that I would get a girlfriend before she went to therapy. She missed it by 2 days. We had a $100 bet. She missed it by 2 days.
Oh my god.
She was rattled.
When's the check coming?
I like jokingly was like, you don't have to pay it. Because I could have just
taking that shit.
I could have just gotten into a relationship immediately, just found someone on Hinge and been like, you're perfect, you're my angel, can we get married?
Yeah, but you actually genuinely enjoy this person's company, so...
Yeah, exactly. It works out great.
That is going to drive me
I'm just going to
insane. Close
the window so we can kind of get rid of some of that air pressure here. Yeet. There we go. That should help.
Fantastic.
Have you been watching any of the NHL playoffs?
I have.
What are you thinking about it? This is big. This could be a big playoffs.
I thought I was rooting like for Vegas.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, my girlfriend's a huge Vancouver fan.
Mm-hmm.
They deserve to win that last game.
Demko has been fucking unbelievable those last 3 games.
That guy was the only reason why I wanted them to win.
Demko?
He was fantastic.
An absolute beautician, as the boys would say.
And I hate that his goals against for that, like those stats were ruined for him because of what? They were finally starting to play hockey in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't pull the goalie. Well, they were dominating 5-on-5.
Yeah.
And I understand everything on the line. I get it. But all they do is pass and they don't shoot. Just leave it 5-on-5. Go out with some fucking pride and not whatever that was. I don't know.
It was. I mean, it's exciting to watch them. I was really disappointed too about the Flyers going out.
No, I didn't feel that.
Well, I just felt bad for Carter Hart. There was a lot of loss for goalies that were doing really fucking well, and their teams just couldn't fucking get it together. Yeah. The Flyers didn't deserve to make it even to Game 7, but Carter Hart kept them in that shit.
Yeah, I think it's time Dallas is due.
For another one?
I just want Sagan and Benda.
All right, so it's Vegas versus Dallas, and then Tampa versus who? Fuck. Well, they've already lost in my mind.
Yeah,
whoever Tampa's playing. Oh my god, why can I not think of this? Islanders. Islanders. It would be nice to see them win.
It would be nice to see, but who do they have that you're like, that's a good dude. He works hard. I want him.
Barzal.
Whatever. If Tavares was still on that team, I'd be like, yes, but no. He's not.
And then in some more sports news, Novak Djokovic. He was the number 1 tennis player in the world, and the U.S. Open is going on right now. Okay. U.S. Tennis Open, and he got disqualified because he was like knocking balls. Because like when tennis players like are ready to serve, they hand them a handful of balls, and they pick which one they want the most, and then they just kind of rock them back to the guy. And he just out of frustration like kind of hit one too hard, and he caught a lineswoman like right in the throat. And so there's apparently a rule in tennis that like if someone like hits like a linesman with a tennis ball, it's at the like discretion of the ref to like disqualify them. And so like the guy Novak was like, please, like I didn't mean to. And like you see the video, he very clearly like just has his head down. He's like, and he's like hits one and just catches her. And the guy was like, "Nah, you're out." So like now the number 1 ranked tennis player in the world, we just got DQ'd basically. For that. God. It was bananas. I was like really shocked that was a rule. And that number 1, it was at the ref's discretion, and number 2, it's unappealable.
That's absurd.
It wasn't anything like it's like because like in football, like if you put hands on the ref, regardless of the situation, you're automatically given a penalty. But like with this, it was kind of like one of those things where the ref could have looked at it and been like, "You're fine."
Yeah.
But he just went, "Nah, fuck you."
There's that guy's making money after this. Just $100,000 just showing up in his bank account. Somebody needs to go check that shit.
That's true. Watch his finances. What do you think about recreational weed finally coming to Maine in October?
I couldn't care less. I really couldn't.
I didn't realize how many like stores there were in Maine. How many shops?
Honestly, it was just all the people that were illegally growing it in their backyard anyways.
And then on top of that, I went one time to a dispensary in Illinois when it was legal.
Yeah.
The fucking lines there were ridiculous. Also, granted, Illinois like kind of just like legalized it one day.
Yeah.
And then like it was legal like the next day. So like they didn't have enough time to put up as many dispensaries as we did.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's going to be long lines like that, but it was like you got there, you had to park in a separate parking lot. They would bus you over to the store. You have to wait in line outside for like an hour and a half. Then you finally go inside. There's like a separate room where like they take your information.
Yeah.
And then you go into the actual store. And then I think you had like only like 15 minutes to look around, and then you had to leave regardless if you bought anything or not. I don't know if that's going to be like that here in Maine, but it was pretty crazy to see.
That beats the hell out of the one that I was at in Salem.
There was one in Salem?
Mass.
Yeah.
like during Halloween.
Yeah, that witch's strain.
And this was ridiculous because like I didn't know what I was walking into.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a black door,
mm-hmm.
and it was like not like regulation door size. Like this thing was like a closet.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's standing outside, and I thought it was a costume, dude. I swear to God, these insane like black dreads. It was like a middle-aged white male. And he goes, dude, like, come on in here. And I was like, all right, like, let's see what's going on in here. And it's like this dark room and just bongs and just pot just everywhere throughout this whole thing.
I don't think you went to an actual store. I think you just went to some dude's basement.
Yeah, basically. It was in a mall. It was in a mall. Like, it was.
It was a homeless guy that found an empty JCPenney. It was like, I'm going to make this my place.
It was crazy, though. Like, you know, when you, like, picture, too, like a zombie walk, like, when you get your arms, like, slung down, and you're kind of hunched over, and you're kind of, like, bouncing, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy was walking out as we were walking in, and the dude, like, as he's, like, bringing me and my girlfriend in here, is like, dude, are you all right to drive? And he's zombie walking going, we'll see what happens. He's walking out. He's like, where? Oh, we went too far. And she's ahead of me, and she's not comfortable enough to be like, we shouldn't be here, and just turn around and leave. He's like, hey, hon, maybe. And she's like, oh, this is cool. As she, like, breaches, like, beads.
Beaded curtains mean one of two things. Either A, drugs, or B, swingers.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things beaded curtains are ever meant to separate.
And, dude, I swear to God, it was the most uncomfortable 2 minutes of my life. So, yeah, well, you have to buy something before you go. And he's, like, staring at me.
He's like, he's making sure you're not a cop.
Yeah, I was like, no. I'm gonna leave. But she's finding it all fascinating.
Yeah. It's very interesting to find a serial killer who's this open about his drug use. So wait, it was a white dude with dreads?
And like super jet black.
What do you think of white dudes with dreads?
I like... Go ahead, man. It's totally up to you. My neighbor had it one time. I think his name was Dean.
That's a great name for a white dude with dreads.
I just, more power to him. I could not care less. Do what you gotta do. But it was just super off-putting because it had one of, like, what you'd picture, like, a Rastafarian artist wearing.
Yeah.
It's got the yellow, green, black, whatever.
Yeah, the Rastafarian color.
So I thought it was one of those, like, costume, like those hats that you could like put on where it just like came with the dreads. And I was like, it was so caught off guard. And he pulls it off, and it was so greasy and like looked like a fucking bird had been living in it. It just fucking stayed there, and I was like, oh my God, this is real. We're in hell. Like we need to get out of here immediately.
I think with white dudes having dreads, at least you know what you're getting. Like you've never met a white dude with dreads, and he's like, man, Trump's gonna make America great again, man. Like, you know where he sits. So that's the one good thing about white dudes with dreadlocks.
Bro. Yeah. And cranberry juice.
But I had to do a project on Rastafarianism. Do you know anything about it?
No clue.
It started out as a religion in Jamaica where...
Wait, that's like a religion?
Yeah, it's a religion.
Oh, Lord.
Where it's kind of similar to Black Israelites. Kind of.
Okay.
Where they believe that they've been stolen from their land, and their land specifically, like their Israel is actually Ethiopia. And so when Rastafarianism came out in the 60s, I believe it started popping off. The king of Ethiopia started having these massive Jamaican people worshiping him because he was the king of their holy land. And then he had to go no, we love Jesus over here. You're not worshiping me. We like Jesus here. And so it basically started a religion. Imagine if a bunch of people from Thailand started worshiping a bunch of people in Ireland. And they're like, you're the greatest. And they go what? We love our Lord and Savior. We're not the second coming of Christ. Did you ever hear about Jessica Krug? Jessica Krug. She was a professor at George Washington University, I believe. Okay. And apparently she had pretended to be black for 30 years when she's just white and Jewish.
Like,
not blackface. She was not wearing blackface for 30 years. Could you imagine?
I was like, wait.
Someone waking up every morning with a thing of shoe polish and being like, well, time to go to work.
She just was white and just claimed to be black?
Yeah, and like, that was the thing where I was kind of like, dude, what does... If a Jewish white woman...
humanities professor.
You know it. She taught African American history. It was...
your major's a fucking joke and a lie.
It's not my major, I'm just saying. It was very, very strange that this woman could get away with for 30 years. And then at the end, she's like, I've always had, like, mental health issues. I'm like, mental health issues doesn't mean you pretend to be black. I feel like if you're
self-aware that you have mental health issues, you wouldn't know for 30 years that you were black. Or wouldn't think. Sorry, not know, but think. If you're self-aware by that much, you could go up to somebody and be like, I'm black, and then like 30 seconds, I didn't mean it.
Also, you have to wonder how many black people called her out. Like how, like in the 90s when someone was like, oh no, they're not gay. And it's like, it seemed pretty gay. And it's like, what, bro, I just said I wasn't. And then like 10 years later, they came out and you're like, God, I knew it. I fucking knew it. I should have stuck to my guns. Just one 20-something-year-old black girl was like, I don't think... She seems real white to me. And everyone was like, you just hate her because she's, like, lighter skinned than you.
Oh, my God.
It's like, nah, she was right. I think the reason why she got to pass off for being black for so long was because she was going to vote for Joe Biden. So I think that's why. Because as he said, if you don't vote for him, then you ain't black. That was such a stupid...
Did he say that?
He was on a podcast with Charlamagne the God, and Charlamagne was like, hey, what are you going to tell the like black voters that feel like you're not like answering any of their questions or meeting any of their needs? And he said, well, you know what they say. You ain't vote for me, then you ain't black. And it was so horrible, number one. But number two, if Bernie Mac did that bit back in Def Comedy Jam days, would have fucking murdered. That would have been a fantastic bit.
Why are both of these people such morons?
Well, one has dementia, and the other one's a sociopath. So, you know. I say, even if you don't like Joe, because he has dementia, just vote for him, because they're going to kill him off anyways, like they did Epstein, so then Kamala can be the first female president. They did it to JFK.
All, this is being aired. You are now on a terrorist watch list. So.
I'm not saying I'm doing it. I'm just saying someone who's listening probably should.
Jacob!
I'm kidding. Calm down. No one should murder the president. Unless he fucks up the Bay of Pigs invasion. In that case, better not be riding down with a rooftop down in Dallas. Alright, speaking of shooting people.
Unplug my mic.
Speaking of shooting people, Kyle Rittenhouse. Do you know about him?
Yes.
Did you see that Trump, like, wouldn't disavow him yesterday?
It was like, I don't know. I don't get it.
So, I read up on it more.
But I heard that he was pretty well attacked.
So here's the story from what I've got. Number one, he lived out of state.
Yeah.
Number two, he was 17 years old, which in both states means he's not legally allowed to have that firearm that he was carrying. Mm-hmm. Regardless if you think it's like an assault weapon or not. It's just not legally allowed to have it. Yeah. Third of all, he crossed state lines with an illegal weapon, which is another charge. And then he started... From the story was that there was Black Lives Matter protests going on, and people saw him like kind of like walking around seeming to antagonize people. Yeah. And so a woman tried to grab his gun to like take it away from him. He shot her. So then after he shot her, he started running away, and then everyone else was like, he just murdered somebody. We need to go get him. So then that's the video that you see where he's running and he falls, is all those people just saw him shoot somebody. It was like, we need to stop him. And then he shoots another guy. And kills him after he hit him over the head, or over the shoulder, they say. It looked like he got him in the head pretty good with the skateboard. Shoots him. And then another guy with a gun was like behind him, and then he had his hands up. He still had his gun in his hand, and then Kyle shot him in the arm, and then just walked away and went home. So after shooting 3 people, and then walking towards the police officers with a weapon, and them saying like, "Stop coming near us." Like, you can hear in the video, they're like, stop coming. And he just, like, keeps walking. And then he walks past them and then goes home. No one stops him. No, none of the cops are like, "We just saw him shoot somebody. We should probably..."
Shock and awe factor, like, what the fuck just happened?
If you're a cop and you're shocked and awed by seeing someone shoot 2 other people...
You deserve to be a cop, I understand that. You probably should have tased his ass or...
like, literally anything.
To
like
stop him from ending other people's lives.
I'm not even saying, like, you have to use, like, force on him, but, like, literally just, like, be like, "Son, before you walk away here, can we just ask you a few questions about what we just saw happen?" Instead of being like, "All right, your mom's in the minivan to take you home." Because that's what happened. His mom drove him there and then drove him back. Imagine that car. Imagine that car ride home. Did you have a fun time at the protests? Did you do a good job cleaning up all that graffiti, baby? I cleaned up the streets, Mom. It's so fucked up. Yeah, so I don't know how they can defend that. Like, I guess the second one, if they're really going to say, like, it was a self-defense thing, where he shot the guy who hit him in the head. But, like, even then, like, they always talk about...
Here's the thing, though. Was the person lurching at him what started the engagement?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't condone what he did. He's a fucking idiot and a loser for bringing a gun there in the first place. You're looking for trouble if you bring a weapon in an area like that. But also, did he feel like, was it a threatening situation where it was like holstered or whatever, and then the lady reached for it?
No, well, you can see, like, throughout the entire thing, he just has it. He's carrying it the entire time.
Like, in his hand.
Yeah. And even if he's not carrying it, it's still on his back. Like,
this was a rifle.
It was a rifle.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it wasn't a handgun. This was a rifle.
What an asshole.
So then, like, of course, like, if people see that and, like, see a 17-year-old kid who... There's even video of him, like, hanging out with the police before, and, like, they're giving him water. And he's out past the curfew. That's what all, like, the excuses that started were, is, like people, if they didn't want to get shot, they shouldn't have been out past curfew. It's like, he was also out past curfew, and you guys were giving him water, and be like, "Thanks, guys, like, we really appreciate your help." It's like, they should not be helping you. They're civilians with weapons. They're not... And at that point, if you're saying, like, you need civilian help to, like, police the streets, then what's the point of the police? It's just the bananas situation, and the fact that, like, Trump's kind of like, you know, he's fine. He did say that he doesn't want people to be vigilantes in the streets, which is, I guess, a good message to get out there, but still not condemning that is a problem.
Yeah. Is he, like, in custody now?
He is in custody. He's been charged with first-degree murder.
Okay, good.
But there's a lot of people that think he's just going to get off anyways, which would not surprise me. But then, if he gets off, there's going to be, like, actual riots, like, across the nation. Like, if you thought, like, the George Floyd thing was bad.
You won't catch me out at any of these demonstrations right now. It's
well,
COVID, there's...
Well, we're in Maine. There's, like, not a thing to worry about here.
I'm not doing it in the current situation.
Alright. Well...
But that man, if he gets out scot-free, should be put in a bunker.
I mean, he's gonna have to. For the rest of his life.
I don't know, man. Imagine trying to get a job after that.
I mean...
Just imagine.
Impossible.
I don't know, man.
Every time you apply, you'd have to change your name to something.
Yeah. Yep. Have you ever had that stupid box that nobody ever fucking uses? Have you ever changed your name? No, you fucking asshole, I haven't changed my name.
All right.
That one guy's the exception. Fuck you.
All right, Kyle, Black Lives Matter. It says here that for a period of when you were 17, you were kind of jobless. Do you want to describe what happened there? All right, on a lighter note, clone, would you fuck it?
No.
I would fuck my clone. Well, I mean, hold on. Let me clarify. I would definitely do hand stuff with my clone to start. But then I started thinking about logistically, like, how I would top myself. That's just too much person.
I just had like a mini anxiety attack. I thought of you doing that.
I'd be a passionate lover.
Oh, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to.
Would you not want a clone, even if you're not fucking it? Just would you want to have a clone?
Sure.
What would you make your clone do?
Everything that I didn't want to. Literally everything. Does it have my same conscience and everything?
Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do the sci-fi version where it's like you get an exact copy of yourself today with all your memories. Okay. And then we'll do the more biological one that we have now where it's like you make a baby and then you raise it.
Okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
I would never want
to raise yourself.
To raise myself. Because I would fuck my shit up real bad before it even had a chance.
Well, wouldn't
and
you...
then the other one, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't trust anyone having the knowledge that I have now and the mental process that I have now to just go off and do something different that's not what I'm doing now. Because what I'm doing now is the only thing that keeps me sane. That motherfucker, that clone of me, to date, right now, copy, paste right here next to me, would kill someone. That person would kill a human being.
I think my clone would probably just be... he'd be fine.
No, it would be you. At your side 24/7, just you.
I don't want him at my side 24/7.
But he would be, is what I'm saying. Ugh.
I don't know if I can handle me that much. I already don't like just the silent thoughts. If he kept talking out loud, I'd be like, motherfucker, one of us has to leave, alright? One of us has to go somewhere. Would you prank your girlfriend if you had a clone of yourself?
No.
Oh, I
that would still feel like super messed up to me.
Would you have a three-way with your clone?
No. Because I don't like looking at myself in the mirror anyways.
That's true. That's a really good point. It's a really, really good point. Never mind. I'm scrapping this whole thing. Brought up the idea of me having to look at myself naked, and I went, fuck, all the time? All the time? Especially if you see yourself having sex.
Exactly. That's horrifying.
Have you ever seen, recorded yourself having sex?
No.
It's not good. I never recommend it to anybody. Especially...
It's funny because I got a GoPro for Christmas, and I was just like, hey, honey, and she's like, go fuck yourself.
I don't think you can have a sex tape for a fisheye lens. You play Tony Hawk's Greatest Hits in the background. That's tough. Alright, hold on. Let me get my paper from our sponsor this week.
Hey, you brought it.
Fucking finally brought that paper I was talking so much shit about. Alright. So our sponsor for this week is going to be Papa John's. Hey, Papa John's wants you to try not to remember when their founder said the N-word. Have you ever wanted pizza but also wanted to self-harm? Order Papa John's, because our pizza will scar your insides more than any razor blade. Thank you, Papa John's, for sponsoring this episode.
Oh my God.
Alright, that was a shorter one, but got to the point.
God, you actually make my temples pulsate every time you speak.
Oh, I try my best, you know? Alright. I want to talk about my COVID-19 conspiracy theory. I know it's kind of late in the game to have a conspiracy theory, but I've had this one for a while, and I think it's the only one that people aren't talking about. Everyone always wants to talk about, this is the government trying to, control us and take away our civil liberties. I'm like, I think you're thinking too big. You're thinking too big. You gotta remember, we tried to kill Fidel Castro by putting, a stick of dynamite in his cigar. We're Looney Tunes shit here in America, alright? We're not world domination. So, we funded guerrilla armies in Cuba with cocaine we sold to Americans that we got from Iran, which we then gave weapons. So, we really are not the brightest bulb here when it comes to intelligence agencies. Everyone that's like, this is mind control, that's fine. Here's my theory. COVID-19 happened just naturally. It came out. No one was like, oh shit. Even if it was like genetically engineered, no one like set it loose. It was like, this is gonna fucking get everybody. It was just, it happened. And then when it started making its way to the United States, Donald Trump saw an opportunity. Because if anyone knows anything about Social Security, which is something that hasn't been talked about a lot this election cycle, but is always something that is talked about because it's the most popular social service that we have. But anybody that knows that is that the baby boomers right now are straining the fuck out of that. Right now, at the current rate that we're going with our population, there will be no money left in Social Security by the time that like Generation X gets around to it.
Yeah.
So the plan was that they had this disease that kills only people with pre-existing conditions and are old, which takes care of Medicare or Medicaid and Social Security. So Donald Trump saw this, went, if we just don't shut down, we let this spread, it's not going to kill most of the country. It'll only kill those people that are straining the social service system. Because Republicans for years have always tried to cut it, but those are the same people that vote for them every year, are the people that use it. So they can't ever cut it. So the idea is if you just let it wipe out that population, you A, get to save money, and B, are you needing anything?
Paper behind you.
Oh, shit. All right, guys, hold on. Pause on the conspiracy theory. We need paper.
Are you doing homework or something?
Fuck it. Just grab it. All right, anyways, how Trump's trying to kill old people. So he saw this opportunity, and he realized that with his kind of ideology that he has now, he doesn't need to be right when it comes to this COVID stuff because there's so many conspiracy theories going around about like, is it real? Is it fake? The Democrats are just trying to take away our liberties. He knew that if he could just kill off that population and then blame the Democrats well enough, which he seems to have been doing pretty well, because this disease and even the best experts can't account for the fact that there's idiots that are just going to go outside and do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
He turns out to be the hero. He saves Social Security. And he gets reelected in November. That's my conspiracy theory. Now, on top of that, I want to say any conspiracy theorist should kill himself. So, I'm not saying, like, conspiracy theories are fun, without a doubt. They're fun to talk about.
Definitely. You can talk about them for hours.
But I think if, like, you're really going through your life and you're, like, terrified of, like, the deep state coming and taking your livelihood away, or like people, like a world disaster happening, they're gonna put us all in like internment camps for the rich, what are you still doing?
Yeah.
Like, do you really think that like you're gonna save the world if you like buy enough AR-15s and canned goods?
I don't know if it was you that had this conversation with me. I was like, if you really think that the world is run by lizard people who live under the earth, why the fuck are you still alive?
Exactly. That's my whole point, is that like, and maybe it's just because I'm a pussy, and if I truly, honestly believed all of that, and I would give a Bourdain goodbye. I would not be here to see the lizard people finally come off of their human suits. Also, all the people like Alex Jones and stuff that have podcasts like that, and they're like, I'm bringing the truth to people. They don't want me to tell you that. It's like, do you really think like if you were exposing like deep state secrets,
that you just wouldn't disappear?
Yeah, like, you don't think if they can orchestrate 9/11 that they can't like cut the brake line on your car one day? Like, fuck off. Stop acting like you're so important.
I'm not like actually like mulling this over in my head. Like, lizard people under the earth. Every time you bury a dead body, you're feeding them. It's just like, it's literally like, it's like opening up a fucking candy bar. You put the coffin in the ground. It goes down, kind of sinks through the dirt. They pick it up, and they're like, oh, 6 Snickers. They bust that bitch open, and they eat that shit. And then one day, they're like, fuck it, man. Like, dead bullshit. I want some real meat. And they just fucking come out of the earth, and you're all fucking screwed.
I'm pretty sure that was a plot of Doctor Who, actually.
No shit.
I'm pretty sure that they met lizard people in the center of the earth at a cemetery. I don't think they ate people, but yeah, that was kind of the plot.
Make a goddamn TV show about that. That's what I need to do. You heard it first here, folks. I'm copyrighting that shit. Don't anybody take it.
last episode, the last 2 episodes, we're just gonna make this a running gag of how on the spectrum is Jake. I started thinking about strip clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get them. I don't understand
totally
the.
Understand.
Well, I can. All right. How about this? I can understand like a guy's want, or I get like the urge to go to a place with hot women that are barely wearing any clothes that'll flirt with you, and I can understand that to a certain point if you're a loser. I guess I don't know. Like just go out. Like you're not gonna get laid at like a nice strip club. Like, those women are paid more than enough just dancing, that they don't have to. Mm-hmm. So why not just, I guess, get a prostitute if that's really what you're looking for? Number one. Number two, like, if you're just doing it to, like, blow off steam, like, there's internet porn for free. Like, you don't have to spend money on this. Or, if you're looking for a real cheap experience, just go to a coffee shop. Those baristas will flirt with the fuck out of you. They won't take off their clothes.
This is where it's the idea that you just like you're fucking pissed with your buddies. You go, you get overpriced drinks like you would at any bar, and you hang out with half naked women. That's what it is. I myself have never been to a strip club. I've been to one, but not when the dancers were there, whatever.
What was going on? What was going on at the strip club?
What? They just had the open bar. You just walk into the bar. There was a stage there, but nobody was fucking around on it. And I was like 18 at the time.
I've got a strip club story. I've only ever been to one, and I didn't really go. Do you know about the Golden Banana in Boston? It's a strip club in Boston that's been there forever. My mom told me a story about when she was younger. My grandfather used to have this bright yellow shirt with a banana print on it, and underneath it, in just black letters, it said the Golden Banana. And she, like, growing up, had no idea what that shirt was until she went to school down in Mass. And then she was like, that dirty old pervert was wearing a strip club shirt around me. And so she had told me that story before whenever I had, like, jokingly said, like anything about strip clubs. And so we went down to a Bruce Springsteen concert, just in case you're wondering, how New England am I? That could be a game show. Welcome back to How New England Am I? This week we're going to talk about flannels. Flannels! A fashionable outfit, or something that you only wear when you're on hunting. And it's like, fashionable outfit! It's like, you're New England! And everyone cheers. But, so we went down and we were driving back and we were passing the Golden Banana. It was my mom, a friend of hers, and me.
Yeah.
And I was like, can we please stop? Like, I need to get this t-shirt. And so they pull into the strip club. I go in, and then at this specific one, there was it was a kind of like a lobby area. So like you come in through doors, and then there's like an area where like the bouncer checks your ID and stuff, and then you go in. So I come in, the bouncer's like, "Hey man, can I see your ID?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to go in. I just want to buy a t-shirt." And he's like, a t-shirt at a strip club? This isn't a TJ Maxx. He was just very confused, and I was like, "No, like I heard you guys have t-shirts here. Can I buy one?" He's like, "I'll go check with the manager." So then he goes back into the club, and the manager comes back out, and he goes, "I heard you want to buy a t-shirt." He's like, this is a place where we take clothes off, right? Like, I was like, "Yeah, can I get one?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So he goes back and grabs one, and I'm like, I give the guy my card to pay for. He's like, "This is a cash only business." And I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense. Actually, yeah, that adds up quite a bit." So I hit the ATM, and while we're waiting for him to come back, I give the guy the money. And he's like, you could come in. Like, the girls are dancing right now. We got good drinks. And I looked him down in the eyes and I went, "No, I'm sorry. My mom and her friend are waiting for me outside."
I thought you were a serial killer.
You got your mom to take you to a fucking with her friend to buy a t? Are you? You probably thought I was on the spectrum.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so the guy comes back and gives me the t-shirt, and it's not the same t-shirt. It was some shitty silhouette of like a girl on a pole on the front, and then just a bunch of sponsorships on the back. I was so disappointed, but I couldn't look at him and be like, can I exchange this for the $40 that I just gave you? Like, I could. So that's my one and only strip club story. And outside of that, I just don't get the point. Especially if you go with your friends, where it's like, man, isn't this great? We're sitting next to each other and we both have erections. This is dope. This is sick.
I don't understand that either.
I never wanted to watch softcore porn with you and just not jerk off. And be like, this is great, man. Hey.
Dude, let's put it this way. I said that I understood it in the beginning. I understand why men do it. I don't understand the good feeling that you would get going to do. It just feels very dirty to me. I've never had the urge to just like, all I want to see is naked women. Like, you know this. I need like I'm a pussy that needs emotional connection.
Emotional intimacy, baby. That's what turns us on.
Oh God.
I just don't get it from like, it's the same way when we go out and drink, I'm always like, why didn't we just stay home and drink a 30 rack? You're like, because we should be social when we drink. I'm like, but I'm just trying to get drunk. Like, if my point, like, the point of a strip club to me is like, you want to get like turned on, you want to live a fantasy. If I want to do that, I could just watch porn for free at home. I do remember one time when I was at school, I was messaging this girl, and we got into like kind of a playful argument about something. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I'll send you nudes if you say I'm right. And I was like, I could find whatever you're going to send me, a professional version of whatever you're going to send me for free on the internet right now. So now. And she like called my bluff on it, and so she sent me nudes anyways. And if I'm going to be honest, those nudes, they were fine. They were all right. It was whatever. They were fine. But you can't say that to someone who's like very clearly like flirting with you.
Yeah.
So I just had to like concede and be like, okay, you're right. And she's like, and then she like was like, yeah, I know I am. And like sent me like a little wink emoji. I'm like, don't you fucking brag right now, all right? You don't get to rub in my face the fact that I'm being nice.
It's not like you could like raise her your own.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Like...
I don't get guys who just send dick pics either. No. If I've ever sent a dick pic, it's because I've been coerced very thoroughly.
Literally forced to do so.
I've never been like, she's gonna want to see this. I'm like, do you really want to see this? Are you sure? Are you I really don't think you do. I promise. She's like, I've seen it in person. I'm like, yeah, but not in this lighting. All right, it's
flash on or off?
Flash is off. Taking everything perspective style, so it looks like someone's leaning against my dick like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh no.
I don't think anyone ever really talks about how mean drag queens are.
Is there a reason why they're mean though?
I think it's because it's considered fun. I think anyone in like the LGBTQ community is like, it's not being mean, it's being sassy, it's being fierce.
What does the Q stand for?
Queer.
Isn't that like technically like a derogatory term and you shouldn't use it?
No, I think queer is a fine thing to say.
Okay. You gotta be careful nowadays, man. You gotta be careful.
Well, yeah, of course you don't want to offend anybody, but if they're throwing it in the acronym,
yeah,
it's fine. But like, it's a weird thing because I've seen some videos of like drag queens like roasting people. Jesus Christ, are they mean? Yeah. It is bananas the things that they say, and everyone's like, I mean, it is incredibly funny. A lot of the time, it is very funny.
Pent up aggression from being stuck in a body that they're not.
Well, drag queens aren't
not
transgender.
Transgender, but I'm saying like they. Drag
queens usually do it just for the showmanship, showwomanship, showspersonship. Yes, it's a very interesting thing to see just how mean drag queens are because it is so entertaining. I'm not saying they should stop because they shouldn't. It's so great. But I'm saying that it's very strange that, like, you see a lot of people getting mad about, like, people roasting each other in comments. Then all of a sudden you see someone, like, on RuPaul's Drag Race be like, that's why your wig's crooked, bitch, because your mom died. And it's like, Jesus Christ. That was so mean.
Jeez. Cancel culture, canceled.
I don't know how much I really believe in like cancel culture.
You shouldn't believe in it. It's fucking bullshit. It's a bunch of like completely overly privileged losers on TikTok that like I feel this way, so you all should too. And then before they do their research on it, they just all go, yeah, fuck that person, and they just unfollow them and then like totally ruin their lives like socially. And then they come out and they have to like defend themselves because heaven forbid like some of the stuff. Did you see the Willy Wonka thing that happened?
Willy Wonka?
This guy who like pretends to be Willy Wonka on TikTok or something. He's like he's pretty funny. Like he's creative or whatever.
I mean, it's a great way to be a pedophile.
See, but this is what happened. This girl goes on TikTok and just goes, I had a really bad vibe from him. Like, he gave me bad vibes that he would do something really bad. And then everybody just immediately was like, yeah, fuck that guy. And, like, totally started slandering him. And then it took, like, a week for people to be like, did he actually do anything wrong, or did you just get bad vibes?
Well, in California, vibes are a form of assault, so...
Well, it's like... But it's just like... it took people, like, a week to figure out the guy had done nothing wrong. And, like, people, like, had to vouch for him, and he had to, like, get, like, people to say he wasn't what she was accusing him to be before she even got any ridicule whatsoever. So that guy's life was, like, ruined for a week. Everybody thought he was a pedophile, everybody thought he was a creep, a loser, a rapist, whatever. And they were just like, there's no like specific details, just I got bad vibes. That's what we fucking live in now. Oh my god, he gave me bad vibes, so put him in prison. Oh, he's there for a week? You want proof? Oh, I can't provide it, but bad vibes.
I mean, he is cosplaying as a slave owner, so I mean, that's kind of fucked up.
Okay.
That's the most realistic part of Willy Wonka, is the fact that the chocolate's made by slave labor.
If they're singing, dancing, motherfucker, in a chocolate factory, you better believe they're there in their own free will.
You think spirituals were really because slaves were so happy to be in the fields? It's literally the same thing as slavery, but it's like, they're cute. We pay them in chocolate. It's not even money. They just feed. It's like, I feed and house them. That's their pay. And it's like he went to the jungle and was like, if you come over here, I'll feed and house you. That was literally the whole thing.
They live in like
a factory.
A dreamland.
They live in a factory.
Made of fucking candy.
The plantation was made of vegetables.
That's not the same thing.
I'm thinking that it is. Willy Wonka, you're canceled. Actual Willy Wonka, not this other guy. Willy Wonka's actually canceled. Did you see this other guy that Justin Bieber was in that new Drake music video? Did you see?
No.
It was just like, it was literally just him like in a Drake video, and a bunch of people were like, Justin Bieber looks hot, and I gotta say, he was looking good. I thought he probably looked the best he's ever looked.
He looks better now than he did when he was like 4 on Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
I mean, I would hope that he looks better to you than he did when he was a child.
Okay,
that would be.
Here's the thing.
Willy Wonka.
He pissed me off at that age. Nobody fucking liked him. If you were a white male, you fucking hated him.
Well, yeah, I think it was all just a bunch of 13-year-old us's being jealous that another 13-year-old boy was being
I'm not
like...
even sure that was it. I think it was just annoying that like there was all like the fan people at school like, oh my god, other people are, oh my god.
Huh.
And that was more irritating to deal with than his music was good.
Well, he did this music video, and like someone like just as a joke was like, I don't know why everyone's losing his mind. The boy showers one time, and all of a sudden you guys are like, he's hot. It was a funny tweet. It was a funny tweet.
Funny, yeah.
A bunch of Justin Bieber stans like started harassing him, like found his address, like found his family's info, found like harassing him and like sending him like threats.
This is why I don't comment.
And they're
why put a comment there?
And they're bragging about it online too. Like they're taking screenshots. Like this is what we need to do. We need to show him. And like people are being like, I would call you a rat, but even rats are cuter than you. And I'm like,
what the heck? Like relax. It's okay. Like chill out. If you're into if I ever saw a comment on this YouTube video, negative or otherwise, I'd just tell them to get a life.
I just don't. It's
like, why?
Here's the thing that I never understand about people that like their own stuff. It's the same thing I have with religion, where I'm like, when someone ask me, like, are you religious? I'm like, no, I'm not religious personally, but I can understand why someone would be. It's very comforting. And people always get upset when I say comforting.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's comforting to believe that, like, when you die, you'll go to someplace very nice. And they're like, well, that's fuck you. And I'm like, if you truly believe in that shit, there's nothing that I should be able to say that'll shake you like that.
Exactly.
If someone was to come up to me and be like, oh, you believe in gravity? Well, that's very comforting for you. I'd be like, yeah, it is. It's very comforting for me to believe in that shit. You're not going to sway me or make me upset when you go, I don't believe in gravity. I'm going to go, well, good luck when you fly, I guess. Whatever, buddy. It doesn't bother me. And that's the same thing I have with, like, stands. When people are like, someone makes a joke about a celebrity. And then they're like, we need to ruin his life. It's like, if you like the person, it's fine. Just like the person.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Also, you don't know them personally. You just know their music. And I think that's a big thing too. I think it really started with the Me Too stuff. Yeah. When people were like, I like Louis C.K.'s jokes, and so I have to defend his actions. It's like, no, you can separate the fact that he did some fucked up, horrible things. Yeah. Like, that was gross and weird. Yeah. And then still appreciate the fact that he's a very funny person.
Yeah. That's it. People just can't fucking, like, you can't just watch something, enjoy it, move on. You have to feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah.
They always have to feel important, so they always have to comment.
It's very strange to me.
Awful. It exactly what it is. 100%. Boss figured it out. In video games, everybody plays video games nowadays. Mm-hmm. Whether or not you think you are, you do.
Yeah.
Instagram, a fucking video game. I'm serious. The whole thing is constant gratification.
Yeah.
So in Call of Duty, say you get a kill, or you hit somebody, you get a little hit marker.
Yeah.
That's instant gratification that you did something right.
Yeah.
Then you get the kill, plus 100 points, congratulations, kill streak, whatever. Mm-hmm. Instant gratification. So that's why people fucking rage out when they die or whatever, because they're not getting exactly what they want when they want it. Mm-hmm. And then that transfers to social media, where you only get, or you get your likes. Mm-hmm. And every like, instant gratification, everything's handed to you immediately, and everything's super fast paced. So anything outside of that, people just rage the fuck out. And it just the society literally revolves around instant gratification. If you don't get it, then something negative is going to happen from it. And if something negative happens and it's in your narrow field of view because you're all fucking monkeys and you all just follow the ding, 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 and the constant, like, tunnel vision bullshit stimulus, then everybody freaks the fuck out and spins out of control. Just mind your own fucking business. Mind your own business. Take a deep breath. Go get therapy because you need it. Get off social media and, like, focus on what's actually in front of you for once. I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah, but did you see that really cute picture of a dog?
Yeah, how about the Patriots?
How about them Patriots? How about them Patriots? Also, did you saw the little video I sent you?
God, yeah. I had no idea how you were going to segue with this, so congratulations.
Goats also agree, ACAB. That means Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, actual goats. All cops are bad. There was a video of a police officer that she went to a house to check. She was called to a house. She went in and she left the door to her cruiser open. And so a goat got into the cruiser and then started eating some of her paperwork. And then when she went over to be like, get out of here, the goat headbutted her. So I didn't realize.
Put her on her ass,
yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Goats got some. I have a story about getting headbutted. We got a little bit of time. This is what we'll end on. When I was in Saskatchewan playing hockey up there, I had a teammate whose nickname was Moose, and he owned a farm locally. So one day after practice, he was like, do you want to come over to the farm and check everything out? I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So I go to his place. I mean, it's like the definition of a farm. Like the big red barn, like equipment everywhere, animals. And so, like, I'm like, oh my, you have animals here? He's like, yeah, we have a couple pigs, we have like a thing full of like rabbits, we have barn cats everywhere. And so, I'm like, can I go in and like see some of the animals? He's like, yeah, sure, you can get in the pen. So, I get into the pen, and he's like, yeah, we have 2 donkeys, we have a goat, we have 2 sheep. And I'm like, oh, that's cute, the donkeys, the goat. I only see 1 sheep. And all of a sudden I just hear like this, like, behind me. And the next thing I hear is just like, and then I get fucking smacked right in the back of the leg, like right in the back of the hamstring, and I go flying backwards. And I'm like, what the Jesus Christ. I'm like laying on my back in like the mud and straw. I'm like, fuck, what was that? And I look up and there's this big black sheep just like pawing at the ground in front of me. And all of a sudden I hear my friend Moose just yell, run! I'm like, what? And I'm getting up because it's not processing to me what happened. So I put one knee up to like get up. It charges me again, catching me right in the sternum. And all of a sudden I'm like, and so Moose has to jump the fence and then get in and then like slap box this black sheep. And like so he gets in and I'm like clutching my chest like on the ground with like, what is happening? And like I just see him like square up with the sheep and then just smack it real quick. And then he helps me up and we jump over the fence like, oh yeah, that's one mean son of a bitch, that sheep. I'm like, you could have warned me of that before I got into the pen. He's like, well, he does that to everybody. I'm like, that's more of a case that you should have warned me if he does that to everybody. Alrighty. That's the end of the episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to our sponsor, Papa John's. I guess that's it. Yee.